That's pretty much the state of the industry. Got a Mavic, it's the size of a laptop. The products to use drones are really easy to use. You can use them on your phones or your iPads, on the web, all three of those things together. It's now possible to go from having a drone to getting your first data outputs on your first day of using a drone. You don't need a lot of training. You just get going. And we've been a part of this journey the whole way to build that software, to make it easy to use. And we were definitely one of the first. And what we've come out with is something that we call the Drone Data Platform. It does three key things. First, it enables you to fly a drone, starting point. It's software that you can use on your phone, your iPhone, your Android device to execute a flight. You put waypoints in, fly the drone around, capture data, and come back and autonomously land. The second thing it does is it processes the data. So you've got 200 photos. That's fantastic. But 200 photos is not the answer to any business question. You actually need to get that into some sort of map that can be georeferenced, that can be replicated and repeated and measured. The last thing we do is we analyze data. And that's just presenting the data in a format that's easy to use and share, to measure, and to get insights out of. And all of these things actually can be separated out. We built this product. We started with you have to go through every single one of these steps on DroneDeploy. But what we believe in is a best-of-breed solution. We don't think that there's going to be necessarily a company that can exist that does everything in the drone space in the best way. To actually get from having a drone, flying it, getting the data, and being the best at finding cracks in wind turbines or damage to by hailstones on the roof. It's quite hard to go that whole distance and be the best company that does every single one of those steps. In the same sense, it's quite hard for a company that makes drones, and we've seen this, and also make software that can keep up with companies that just make drones or just make software. And so we've broken them up. Now you can fly with DroneDeploy and capture your data. You can take those photos anywhere with the best flight experience. You can take photos that you've captured from other sources, just throw them into DroneDeploy. We have lots of people using SenseFlies and other devices, uploading to DroneDeploy to get their maps. And the last thing, which is actually a new thing we've done, is now anyone can analyze their data in DroneDeploy, irrespective of whether they processed with us. So if you actually have made a GeoTIFF and you've used an alternative software because it had some advantage, that will happen. You can actually just take the GeoTIFFs, upload them to DroneDeploy, and that's a great place to share and analyze the data in a collaborative way. And the result of this has been people using DroneDeploy for all sorts of reasons. We're we think, the most horizontal platform in this space. You can use this for everything. People are using us for farming, investigating roads, environmental damage, solar, the list goes on. Archaeology through agriculture. And they're doing it all over the world. So this is actually a bit of an older map. Every single one of those dots is a map or a 3D model being built around the world, starting from around 2004 and expanding rapidly. And we think it's actually now the world's largest centimeter resolution data set. You can see it's getting bigger everywhere. And we actually announced a couple of weeks ago that they've hit 8 million acres. That's the size of Belgium. So if you were to put all of our data sets next to each other in like a square, it would take about 2 to 3 hours to drive across in each direction. Let's talk a bit about construction. We have a lot of people using construction. In fact, construction has become our biggest industry on DroneDeploy, exceeding agriculture in the last 6 weeks or so. And people are using it to capture a lot of data. Typically, what's happening is people are capturing data around 250 feet. They're capturing areas on average of about 40 acres, and that just takes about 10 minutes to acquire. But some people are going crazy, collecting rather large data sets. The largest site, it's actually not this one, we can't share that one, but the largest site we've ever had on DroneDeploy, made by a DJI Inspire, was 8,000 acres. People are capturing huge sites with these small drones. I'm going to talk a little bit more about an even bigger project in a moment. So we talked a bit about the best of breed way to build this product. We are trying to make the best, simplest, easiest way to capture drone data and make it as valuable and make the users as productive as possible. We know that we can't be the best at everything. So what we've done is we've launched our platform. It's a really exciting launch for us. It's happened about 3 weeks ago. We launched with about 20 apps. I think we're upwards of 25 now. And you can do some really cool things. This is one of the apps. So pretty much a one-click 3D model printing button. This is a model I made a couple of months ago. You can go into DroneDeploy. There's an app which is made by a company called White Clouds. And you press the 3D print button. It says, hey, I'm going to pay some money for this. It's about $150. Give them your address and press go. And about a week later, you'll get a 3D print of the model that you made with your drone. It's pretty exciting for us. We've been talking about this for about 3 years. You can imagine going from the physical world, digitizing it, and then taking it back to the physical world 1,000 times smaller is a dream of a lot of drone companies for a long time. That's not the only thing our App Store does. We have apps that do a lot of things. Integrations with Autodesk and Box. Those are big integrations for the construction space. You can now export your data to Revit. It's simply a click. Verify. If you want to insure your flights, every time you go flying, you can press the Verify button and get insurance for up to $1 million for $10 through the DroneDeploy platform. You can use White Clouds 3D printing, air maps to make sure that you're in compliance where you're flying, all within the DroneDeploy interface. And all it takes is to go to DroneDeploy and press the install app, and it actually lives within the interface, making it really simple to get the full end-to-end solution of drones. So let's talk about construction. I told you about really big maps. And this is one of the most exciting projects that's ever happened, I think, in the drone industry. There was a guy about a year ago that was contracted to capture data over 1,000 kilometers of Mexican highway. And he looked at using Cessnas, no problems with doing that in Mexico. The resolutions they needed, the flying low enough in dangerous places. They opted to use drones instead. So they got a little fleet of 8 Phantom 3 Pros, and they started flying, capturing this data. And over the course of a couple of weeks, they captured 120,000 photos. And so what they did is they needed to process that data. They bought themselves 8 really big computers. They bought some software, 8 licenses of it, and started chugging through that data. But they were way behind schedule. They could capture the data with these little Phantoms way faster than they could actually process it. Jobs were taking more than a day. And so what they did, around about November last year, we launched DroneDeploy Map Engine to beta. They just started dumping photos on us. In about 3 weeks, they constrained by their upload time. In about 3 weeks, they were able to process all 120,000 photos into maps, contiguous maps of the highway. So all these white lines are contiguous map areas. And they found lots of really interesting things. They were able to find, that's Sergio with Skylab Industries. They were able to find areas that didn't have the lane markings, pavement conditions that were bad. They even managed to find an area where the highway there was a highway toll that was circumvented by a little road that no one knew about. And so people weren't paying their tolls. The accessibility is really important to us, and we've started from that position. How do we make this product so easy to use that anyone can do it? You don't have to be a pilot or somebody with a lot of experience doing even know what photogrammetry is as a word. We want to give this technology to everyone. And we're giving more technology away. We continue to improve our product, and we're cloud-based, so you can just imagine every couple of weeks, or maybe every week, we add more features to DroneDeploy, and it's to arrive on our product. Of those features, I thought I'd kind of highlight what people are using the most. I'd love to ask Jesse if this pattern is true of them. For construction, these are our top 4 used features. Point clouds, orthomosaics, take them into products like Revit. Volumetrics in the product, and distance and position measurements, the elevations, and to understand distances. And we have a lot of new products coming. We've just launched point clouds in beta to all our paid users. We just did the starting point on that. We've just launched a new way of doing ground control points to make the processing a lot faster. We're doing orbital flights. For us to create nice 3D prints like this, it's important to get the facades of buildings. So there's now, in the next couple of weeks, you have a one-click way to fly with an orbital flight, doing overlays. And of course, we're improving. You can already kind of choose the timeline at the top there. If you have anyone that uses DroneDeploy, if you take a DroneDeploy map at the same position twice, it will allow you to go through time. We're improving that experience quite a lot, because we just have more and more people doing the same maps over again and comparing them. It's an interesting question on accuracy. important, difficult topic in the drone space. What does it mean to be accurate? Talk to Rory. We have a lot of people that ask this question to us, and actually a lot of people do a bunch of analysis for us. And this is one of the guys, Kelsey Martin, from Martin Remote Sensing. He did analysis, and I thought kind of one of the most interesting points were here. So he was doing a stockpile analysis with a traditional way of using GPS sensing. They were getting 3 meters squared per point. You actually have to invert that measure using a drone. You just have so many more points. It's so much more higher resolution, 400 points per meter squared. He's made it hard to do the math, but that's somewhere in the order of 1,000 times more points per meter squared. So you can have a lot more definition. The volumes that come out, this is for Martin Remote Sensing, the gold standard, how to measure a volume. The volume coming from a drone is within 0.6%. There's other types of accuracy, and to be able to get high accuracy, you need to use ground control points or RTK. If you have an RTK data set in DroneDeploy, you can just upload it. It just works. But if you don't have that, you'll need to get GCPs. And what we recommend typically is 6 to 10 ground control points. It changes depending on the size of your space, and these are the kind of the accuracies that we see traditionally with ground control points. The last thing I thought I'd put together is just some advice for anyone that's in the construction space. How do you put together a decent construction bundle? Where should you start? And we're very excited about the Phantom 4 Pro. It is another leap forward. It's, I think, the most interesting thing for somebody in the construction space. Obviously, it has the avoidance. That's important. You don't want to crash your drone. That does happen. People do make mistakes. Ask Jesse. Not him personally, but other people. Ask me. I've crashed more drones than anyone. You have a very high resolution camera on that. It's 20 megapixels. It's got a 1-inch sensor. Sensor size is really important in photography. And it really will define some of the accuracy that you can get. So the jump from 12 megapixels to 20 megapixels is actually not even capturing the full improvements to the new sensor. Obviously, we would say use DroneDeploy. It's a great, easy-to-use tool for construction. Literally, you can get up and started in 10 minutes. You can download the app on your phone. You can not just fly the drone from the phone, but you can actually analyze your data from your phone in our tool. It's unique in the market. Using a business account starts from $300 a month. You can get all the resolution you need, all the accuracy you need, ground control points, and pretty much every feature that's on DroneDeploy comes with DroneDeploy Business. With that, you can get all the integrations. You can integrate with Box and get that one-click Revit integration. Integrates with the 3D printing. Literally, it's 2 clicks to get that 3D model printed. You can get the flight insurance every flight. Just click the button. Spend $10, get $1 million of flight coverage. And something I just wanted to tell you guys about today is we have a support and marketing bundle that we're launching in the next couple of weeks for doing a webinar series with DJI, with DroneDeploy, and real customers like RO. And of course, we have a ton of other support material. You go to support.dronedeploy.com. We have a ton of information about how people are using drones, what people are doing. Our blog is extremely well visited. It's kind of a resource for the industry. It's a great way to actually learn about these kinds of stories. Give it a go. DroneDeploy is free. You can download the app. You can upload data to us. It's all free. And yeah, and give us a shout if you have any other questions. We've got a great support team. I think that's something we're known for, is good support. And yeah, thanks for listening, and thanks to DJI for hosting.